Before we kind of jump into this call, I wanted to just relay some quick messages from Jeff Hill. Obviously he's out of town for a little bit, but guys, beat your best. This is the main message where I don't know if you guys know Jeff on a personal level. Man, that guy is one of the most competitive guys there is, and so I hope that you know that this is coming from a genuine love of Jeff. He wants you to push and to beat your best. So whether it's by 2, whether it's by 3, whether it's by 4, beat your best. Do it. And he's calling you out, so to say. So that message is coming directly from Jeff Hill. So, guys, also we have Joel on the National Wake Up Call today. So right after this call, make sure you jump on, hear what Joel has to say about Live 4, about getting his group started, what is going to entail in his group, and how he's going to run his group, so to say. Again, guys, I'm pumped up about today's call. It's the first time I've kind of done the hot seat, hey, put Meredith on there. We're going to be able to ask any questions. Hopefully you guys all saw her introduction on our Elite Push group, guys. If you guys didn't, I always love to kind of run through these, give you a little bit of a background about Meredith, but I'm sure Meredith will jump in and say, you know what, let me tell you a little bit more about me, about my life, how I got started. But Meredith, she enrolled as a coach September of 2013. She's currently a 7-star. She's a 4-time elite coach. She finished 2014 elite at number 14 in the network. 2015, she finished 40th in the network. In 2016, she finished at 63rd in the network, and 17 at 76 in the network. Guys, she is an executive leader, Success Club 10 All-Star legend in the 50 months. Guys, she's been on the National Wake Up Call. Hopefully you guys you've seen her on the National Wake Up Call, okay? She's been a Summit Elite panelist, guys. She's a 6-figure earner, guys. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to run this business. She knows how to, teach that duplication within coaches. And so, guys, Meredith, jump in here. Tell us a little bit more about you before we put you on the hot seat and ask you question after question.
Sure. First, let me know if you can hear me.
You are good to go. I can hear you perfect.
Okay, perfect. I had 2 windows open because I had trouble with my audio the other day. But hey, you guys, I'm really excited to be here and to help you guys out and really just to answer your questions. I don't really know what to tell you about me because that was such a great introduction. So you've heard a little bit about my quote unquote Beachbody resume. Before I came into Beachbody, I guess I can tell you a little bit about who I was, and you'll see kind of how my brand just organically came to be. As you guys know, you just have to be authentically you. I struggled with my digestion, and I struggled with health for a really long time in my life. And so as I got, older and I was doing jobs that were thankless and whatnot, I had this underlying love for always doing health and wellness or learning about health and wellness and curing myself. And so I went down a road just to really heal myself. I read tons of books on healing. I studied through a distance study course as a holistic health practitioner. I started to study like herbology. I started to study yoga, food as medicine, all of these things. And so for the 6 years before I became a coach, because I did this my first couple of years coaching, but my 6 years before becoming a coach, I taught yoga full-time. And when I say full-time, I mean like 16 to 18 yoga classes a week, which ended up being a 40-hour-a-week job in and of itself. Plus I had like a zillion side hustles like we all do, right? Like I taught cooking classes at people's houses. I did workshops where I'd teach detoxing and food as medicine and all that stuff. So I was very clear on who I was and my love for helping people and how I wanted to educate people on food as medicine. Coming into this, what I didn't know is I knew nothing about a network business except for that I never wanted to be a part of one. That was great for other people, but it wasn't for me. I straight up said to my coach when I signed up, like, I will do the commission things. I will help people. I will help people learn about food. I will help people with the boot camps, as I call them, the challenges, but I am never going to build a team. Yeah. At the same time, I told her that, whatever elite was, I thought I could be elite, and that I was really excited to make money because it's something I didn't have, even though I had a zillion jobs. So I came into this with that mindset that I was never going to build a team. And obviously, as you know, building a team is the most rewarding part of the business, but it takes a long time to build your team and to find your core team, or at least I found it has. So that's a little bit about me. I don't know if you want me to jump right into the questions that are on the thread, or
that's perfect. That's awesome. Thank you, Meredith, for kind of telling us, diving a little bit more about your giving nature and going into, just who you are. But let's dive into some of the questions on the thread that were underneath the post in the Elite Push group, and then we'll open it up for the rest of us here for questions. So if you guys have questions as she's answering these questions, we'll open up the mic. So don't put it in the chat. Open it up. Ask Meredith the question. Don't be shy. It's gonna be good. So Meredith, let's start with those questions that you got on the chat thread.
Okay, cool. So I'll get through these as many as I can, as fast as I can. But Mary Catherine had asked 3 questions. She said, how do you mentor your coaches for success? What's the process? Well, there was 2 questions in one. How many coaches do you add a month? What do your coach invites look like? Cold invites. Are they from challengers? She's asking. So first, let me start with what my numbers look like every single month. When I was my very first year in the business, when I was really growing my business, I went elite my first year. So when I was growing it big and I was bringing on leaders, I would say I was averaging between 8 and 13 onboards a month, which is a grand amount, So it was really based on my excitement and sharing my journey with coaching and sharing every single win and how excited I was about it, including like making a side income. All of that was really important, as well as everything that we were a part of. Like, think about all the things that Beachbody does and contributes to. We got to be part of like the Feed America campaign. We've done things in the past with international justice missions. So I knew my core people always loved to give and be a part of things like that. So those are the things I talked up a lot. And I really learned about the Beachbody Foundation and the things that I could be talking about. So it was a little bit easier to talk about coaching when you're super excited about it and when there's more to it than just sign up to be a coach, run a challenge group, right? Or sign up as a coach and have a 25% discount. I also obviously talked to people about the business opportunity, and I reached out to people that were just like me. So individuals who were struggling yoga teachers, who were working in health and wellness already, who had a deep love for optimal wellness, nursing, anything that they were working in a service environment where they loved optimal healing, but they weren't being rewarded at their work either through recognition, any level of value, or they were underpaid and they definitely needed to earn a side hustle, as well as, always seeking that next level of health for themselves. So I would not say that had maintained my average of coaches. Last year, my average coach recruits in a month were 4 to 5. So they dropped significantly. This year, they're back up a little bit. I'd say in between 6 to 8, 5 to 8 this year, depending on the month. I will say that after last year, Brittany and Doug had given me some clear numbers that really helped me understand what my baseline markers had to be in order to nail elite every single year. And obviously, the elite goal guides changed, but I really believe these numbers are pretty much the same. And that was non-negotiably, and I may have increased their numbers a very, very small amount. Basically, they gave me a range, and I never look at a low range, right? If somebody says 10 to 12 or something, I'm not gonna lean on 10. I'm probably gonna lean on 12 and really push 14. But they basically said to me, help 8 people every single month. So that's SC16. Half of those people would be customers. Half of those people would be coaches. So that's 4 customers, 4 new customers, 4 new coaches every single month. That to me became my new SC6. Not that SC6 was ever my, non-negotiable base. 10 has always been my base. I always do more than 10. There's been very few months. There's 1 month I missed it. I hit 8. That was a really tough month. It was only a year ago. But other than that, my average numbers on SC are probably more like 20 to 40. So a high month would be like 40. A low month would be like 14. And an average month would probably be like 23 to 28. So hopefully that helps you see how many coaches you need to have non-negotiably coming in every single month. And the reality is, as you know, as much as this business is about, helping those individuals that want to succeed, it's also a bit of a game of numbers, because you're not in any control of what someone's going to decide. Just like people go to work, they, take great jobs, and then they decide life happens and they're quitting that job because they're unhappy for whatever reason, whether it's something personally in their life or it has something to do with the work environment. You never know what's going on in someone's life. So just like any other job, this is something that somebody is going to start small. It's not going to produce a lot of income at first, most likely, which means that just like any other job, they're liable to quit at any given time. So if that's the case, you definitely need to be talking to more people and bringing more people on in an effort to obviously have more people running with you and succeeding. How do my coach invites look like cold market from challengers? It's a little bit everywhere. I plant the seed really early on. I talk about, if you go to my social media, I tend to work my Instagram a lot more these days. I get more traction from my Instagram. It used to be different. It used to be my Facebook. My Instagram is handle boho_fit_girl. If you go there, you'll see that I have a job form linked into my, where you would put a web address or a link tree. I don't use link tree because I feel like with link tree, it's funny, one of my coaches on this call mentioned this the other day, but I feel like with link tree, I automatically know someone's selling me something, and I don't like that. And with a job form, it seems more simplistic and less MLM-y to me. So I've been using just a basic job form that I put in there. You can look through my job form and see what I ask for people. Please, of course, don't fill it out, but you can see what I ask of people. One of the things that I ask in the job form is a multiple choice of, do you want to work on your nutrition, your fitness? Do you want to change your life? Do you want to do both? Or do you want to do all that, become a coach? So right away, when I get their job form, I even know if they're interested in the coach aspect. And if it says nothing about becoming a coach, that first introductory script that I'm going to send to them, telling them a little bit about the boot camp, relating to their goals and struggles, I ask questions in it. And one of the questions, if they did not write anything about coaching, one of the questions will be, have you considered becoming a Team Soul Warriors coach, or whatever you guys call it, like I say Fitfluencer, or I say Fit Lifestyle coach. So it's changed over the years so many times, but have you considered joining the team to help and support other people while you're on your weight loss journey? So that question is in there, which then when they reply, some people would say like, I have considered it because they've been watching my feed and it gives them time to talk about it. Or they'll say, I don't know about it. Can you tell me more about it? So that's one way to get, plant seeds. The other thing is, if you look at my social media, my Instagram stories, every single day on stories, I'm going to share a clip of my workout. I'm going to share a call to action. I'm going to share, a swipe up. Before I had the swipe up feature, it was just like how to fill out my job form. But I'm always bragging on my coaches, and not just on my coaches. You'll see today, the ones that I put up last night are transformations of my coaches. So you can see that these are real people that had transformations that started with wanting to work on themselves, and now they're actually helping other people. So, you're selling the coach opportunity as an opportunity that starts with you. And that's genuinely what it is. And I know in the beginning of my business, one of the roadblocks I ran into is I would talk to people that were already into health and fitness and wellness, and they didn't want to do the Beachbody thing, or they would do it, but it wasn't going to be their main form of workout. And they thought they could build a business without being a loyal customer first. So that has really helped me a lot. When I'm talking to individuals on direct message, so this can go to my exact coach invites. When I'm talking to individuals on direct message, it's simple stuff. Obviously, what my Instagram stories is depicting is me as a coach, the journey and whatnot. So if people DM me, if people are commenting on it, it's a very easy conversation because that's all that's laid out there. It's just simply, have you ever considered joining the team, right? That's super simple. I have a couple blogs written that really elaborate on the things that I love about the team, the trips that I've gone on and that sort of thing. So if somebody is curious about, I don't really know what the team is, a lot of times instead of giving them information, I'll just say, go ahead and read this blog and see if this would appeal to you. And I'll send them a blog that was about like the Success Club trip, or about a leader trip that I took, because I'm painting the picture for the women that are like me. And the women that are like me love to travel. They love holistic healing. They love all those things. So I'm having them create their own vision for it. So another invite would simply be, if we're talking about health and wellness, or we're talking about the team, I do not word vomit. I do not garble a ton of stuff in DM. I hate typing in DM. The little boxes are too small to type in. So I simply say, do me a favor and fill out my link. You'll come to the top of my inbox and we can chat today, or we can book a call time. And then right away they know that I'm looking to connect with them, get on the phone with them. And then I simply send them my job form. And if they don't fill it out, then obviously they're not that interested. So that covers those. How do I mentor coaches for success? What is the process? That kind of goes with some of the other questions that are in here. So let me scroll through a couple more of these questions because I have a feeling that some of them are going to be combined because I feel like I saw another one in here that was similar to that. Oh, and Wendy asked, what does your favorite invite look like? That's like my favorite invite. So let me go back to inviting a little bit and how I built my business from nothing, right? So every single day when I would run into people, no matter where I was, if I'm at the market, if I'm at the yoga studio, wherever I am, somebody's always going to say to me, hey girl, what's new, right? Like, hey girl, what's up? What's new? And usually the answer would always be like, oh, hi, how you doing? Same old, you know? So this was an opportunity for me to start talking. And again, planting seeds. It wasn't to word vomit. It was just to plant seeds so people could take interest in what I was doing. That way I could follow up with them at another time. So I'm a big seed planter. I'm really into gardening, even though I don't really garden. My boyfriend gardens and I eat everything in the garden, but I get the process. So with people that I would see at the yoga studio or on the regular, instead of being like, oh, hey, how you doing? Same old, I'd tell them something very exciting about what I was doing. Like, oh my gosh, thanks for asking. Actually, you know, it's really exciting. I'm doing a 60-day, like right now I'm talking about L4 as an 8-week transformation challenge. So it's like, I just signed up for an 8-week transformation challenge. So that's been really fun. We've got a huge crew of women that are inspiring me every single day to get out of bed and girl, I need it. Anyway, how are you? Right? So it's like I plant the seed, I move on, I start asking them about them. So we generate a conversation. If they have interest, they're either A, going to ask me about it, or if they don't, if the conversation goes somewhere that feels comfortable at the end of that conversation, I can circle back around and say, oh my gosh, would you want to do this with me? Like I need accountability partners. Like I could use all the help I can get. You know, would you want to do a challenge with me? And if they said, tell me more about it, I would just say, I'll send you info when I'm home. Or let's talk on the phone later about it. I got to go. You know, like I try to get out of the situation so I don't word vomit all over people. And obviously that also helped me in the work environment to keep the peace at work. But should we not have a chance to circle back around, a lot of times I would just follow up with them later, like in a text if I had their phone number, or I would find them on social media, or if they were a Facebook friend of mine, I would send a message and just say, hey girl, it was so great to see you this morning. Something about our conversation, whatever, you know, relate, show them that you're genuinely interested. And then I would simply say, I feel really bad. I didn't even extend an invitation to you when we connected. I hope you realize, like, we have a huge group of women doing this with us, and you are absolutely welcome to start this challenge with us if you had any interest. I didn't want you to think that I wasn't inviting you purposely. Because I know for me, when people talk about exciting things and I don't get a verbal invitation to it, sometimes I feel like they don't want me to be a part of it, right? Because I have all these like self-conscious issues around things and why people wouldn't want to be my friend. So I like to take that extra measure to follow up and just say, hey, you know, I'm so sorry. It was so ignorant of me, or I hope you didn't take that wrong. You are absolutely welcome to do this with us. So again, it gives them another opportunity to talk about doing that. You can use the same aspect with coaching. If you're sharing about coaching, like, yeah, me and my girls are going on a trip. We have a fun team trip coming up. I'm really excited for it. It's a huge leadership development trip. And I just haven't traveled in so long. And it was just something that, you know, the company rewarded me for. So again, planting a seed, you can easily follow up another time and say, hey girl, I cannot even believe when I was talking to you, I didn't share more with you about coaching. I don't know if you would have any interest in it, but you know, I know that you've liked a couple of my photos, and if you want to learn more about coaching, I would love to tell you more about it. It's been a game changer for me. So like, leave it in their hands of, you know, do they want more information? Ask them if they want more information. Ask them if they want to learn more about the opportunity. So those are some of my easy, very organic and very fun invitations when you're talking to people, you know, in a like a setting that you're face to face in. Always get your face out of your phone. But if it's all online, you can do the same thing online, right? You're just planting seeds and having a conversation, and then you're circling around and asking the hard invite, or asking them if they'd have any interest. Okay, so I know that there was one about my coach onboarding process. Was that Amber that asked that? Let me try to find it, because then I can answer that other question at the same time. So it was Kelsey. So what does your coach onboarding process look like? Like after they sign up, are they ready to take their first steps? And then that kind of goes along with Mary Catherine's question of how do you mentor your coaches for success and what's that process look like, which also kind of goes with Courtney's question about how do you find a balance between pushing your coaches towards success and meeting them where they are. So we'll start with Kelsey's, what's my onboarding process look like? It does look a little bit different for different individuals based on what their interest level was to begin with. So if it's someone who has been in my challenge groups for, they've done challenges, they've been on Beachbody On Demand forever. I don't even know if they're on Shakeology anymore. And we end up having the conversation about it. They start liking my posts again, or I reach out to them and ask them if they want to do L4 with us. And we start talking about coaching. I'm going to find out where they're at on their Beachbody journey. Like, are they already on Shakeology? Do they use Beachbody On Demand? I need to know everything about them before I'm going to send them a welcome letter, because my goal is to make sure my customer, because my coaches are all my customers, right? You guys got to remember that your coaches are your customers. They are your best customers. They are the customers that deserve your best customer service. They're paying a membership fee to work with you every single month. They are genuinely interested in this community and genuinely interested in the products and programs. Like, they are your preferred customers. Even if they say they want to coach and they don't, or they don't say they say they don't want to coach and they do, or whatever, it doesn't matter. So I pour everything into my team more so than my challengers. If I have challengers that come and go, they come and go. But when it comes to the girls that sign up with me, I really connect with them one-on-one. So the first thing I do is I set them up with the information on the challenge. I have a standard challenge welcome letter. It has links to get into our Facebook groups. I run all my groups on Facebook. It covers things like our trackers, Beachbody On Demand app, Beachbody Nutrition app, how to get onto those, and a basic overview of how to get started. So that's where I start everyone. If they've already done a challenge with me before and they're not enrolling in a new challenge, like the girls that are enrolling in L4 right now, like, that's where I'm starting them. Even as a new coach, even if they've done challenges before, we're starting you with L4 first. I want them to get excited about the programs and products, start getting results. That next week, or it might just be a couple days later. Again, it really depends on individuals. You're gonna have individuals that say, oh my gosh, I'm so super excited about the coaching thing. I want everything now. And then you're gonna have other people that are like, I don't know, I'm kind of interested in the coaching thing, but I'm also like just wanting to work on myself. So individuals that want to work on themselves, I'm getting them going on the challenge first. Individuals who are super excited to coach, I get them going on the challenge, and within maybe 2 to 3 days, I send them their coach welcome letter. They know when I send them the original challenge welcome letter, I'm going to send you a separate email about coaching in a couple of days. The first thing I want you to do is get started on your challenge. So by the time that they get their coach welcome letter, a lot of times, like the day before, I'll add them to our coach Facebook group for my personally sponsored coaches, which is more intimate than my full downline group. And I'll tag them in something in there, which is like the beginning steps or like a basic 5-day training. So the welcome email that I do send them will have, it's long, it's comprehensive. And so when we get on the phone, I'll even say to them, I know this welcome letter can be totally overwhelming and there's a lot of bells and whistles to it, but you also have to remember this can become a 6 or 7 figure career if you desire it to be and you put everything into it. So this is basically like your resource hub. So just don't delete the email. If you don't want to work with it right now, you don't have to work with it right now. But I have a team website on there that they can access. Our team website basically has videos from girls on the team that are talking about basics that they can do to get their business up and going. We have a phase 1 and a phase 2 training. They're basically the exact same thing that's in the Coach Online office. Because our online office didn't used to be as user-friendly, we moved everything onto a team website. It's basically the same now. So they can access it either way. So basically the onboarding process is once they get their welcome email and they sent me back the questions that are at the bottom of the welcome email, they say things like, do you want to work your business? Do you think you can be an elite coach? What's your family life like? What are your goals? And that sort of thing. Then we book a GSR call. On the GSR call, I basically start by asking them about them, asking them what they want to know, because I don't know what they've already researched, what they already know, and what they're excited about. So by starting and saying, listen, this is our opportunity to connect and for me to fill you in on all the benefits of coaching, but also to answer your questions. Let's start with your questions so we make sure we hit every single one of those first. Because if I have to give them information on Success Club benefits and all that, we don't have time on the call, they can watch a video on that. But I want to address their questions and their concerns so that they walk away from that call feeling empowered. So that's basically what I do. That's my onboarding process. We do run a group 10-day training at the top of every month. It's just 10 days action oriented. It's an Emerald push. And so every single day we're telling them to do your business power hour, and then we give them something else to do, like add 10 names to your list. And we have somebody go live like every other day in there, and it's always a diamond or a star diamond that leads that group. So that's my onboarding process. When it comes to, what was the next question? How I mentor my coaches for success. There's a few different things. It really depends, again, on like the pace of my coach, right? Like every single individual is different. Some people want more mentorship than others. Some people are running more than others. First of all, I tell people on our Getting Started Right call that when it comes to the coach side of things, I match your pace. So if you hit Success Club, if you start, I know you're doing the back end work that I'm telling you to do if you're in Success Club. And if you're not in Success Club, I know you're not doing the things that I tell you to do, because they go hand in hand. So I always tell them I'll match their pace. If they're hitting Success Club, if they're onboarding coaches, I am their backbone. They can reach out to me at any time and I'll be here to support them. Best way to reach me is on Facebook Messenger. That way I can send audios and I don't have to worry about typing. If it is someone who like doesn't want to work their business as much, but they're excited, I will ask them as a new coach. We have a push group. I have a push thread where I put new coaches so that they get their first month to determine if they want to be pushed or not, or their second month. So I'll say, hey, I have a push thread going with some of the newer coaches on the team. It's a small group where all of us are working to achieve Success Club and get our first wins and get our first customers and get our first coaches. There is no pressure to join this, but if you are really interested in the business, you're welcome to join that thread. If you need to focus on your fitness journey first, I will 120% push you to focus on that first. You can always join the push thread next month. So that's really where I start them, is I really push them to get started on their fitness journey, and just make a list of like 100 people that they want to start inviting to at least get their challenge pack covered and get their first customers in our boot camp with them. So that's pretty much what the onboarding process looks like for me and how I mentor my coaches. We do, obviously, I tell everyone, get on the National Wake Up Call, get on our team call. I run a team call every Tuesday for either I run it, or a successful coach on the team, or a visiting presenter comes in and leads a call. I don't do any group personally sponsored calls outside of that. That is my call. But I do lives in my personally sponsored coach page, where I do maybe like once every couple of weeks, I go in and do a live to help people. Used to be a lot less than that. I'd be in there every single day with like a trifold and sharing them what I was doing as I was building my business and how I was doing that. Now I'm in my push thread with my girls. Probably every few days I go in, I just check in on them. I have them, writing stuff in there, their wins, their questions, and addressing their questions and concerns there. And then Courtney had asked, which is really funny because Courtney's one of my coaches. She said, how do I make it a healthy balance where I'm pushing my coaches, but I'm also meeting them where they're at? And I think that's just keeping an open line of communication and putting yourself in that person's seat. So open line of communication, meaning like, how much do you want from me? Do you want to be a part of more groups? Like, I straight up tell people, like, this is what I do. This is how I coach people. If you want this, I'm here 120% for you, but I need you to opt into it. I need you to match my pace and do the work. And if you don't want that, I'm still here for you 120% when you need me, or I'm going to be there to help you with your fitness journey. So I really ask them, just to keep the line of communication 100% open with me and be really open. I tell them I'm very cards on the table, and that's what works best for me. And a lot of people really appreciate that. They say, I'm so thankful that you're really cards on the table that way. It really helps me a lot, and they're able to be very honest with me and they don't feel bad about things. And then I'd say keeping the relationship in a sense that it's like a nice balance between pushing them and meeting them when they're at where they're at. I just put myself in that person's shoes. Hopefully I would know about that person's life. I know if they're a busy mom. I know that hopefully I know enough about them to know if they're struggling in their relationship, or if they're about to go traveling, or if they've got, multiple jobs or that sort of thing. So I always put myself in that person's shoes. Am I going to be overwhelmed by the content? Would I want someone to talk to me this way? Would I want to be pushed like this? Is this going to push me over the edge? Or what sort of verbiage would I need to know that somebody is compassionate and sees my struggles in life and sees where I'm at and that my plate is full, but also gives me the tender love and push that I need to believe in myself and go next level. So if I'm having that conversation with myself, then it's easier to know how to speak to my coaches. So that's all of the questions that were asked on here.
Yeah. As you were talking it through, through those points, I wrote down instant action, make strong recommendations, don't to say, don't produce professional learners, produce professional doers. Like that's the whole point of the business. So, I mean, those were some points that I hit down on as you were talking, Meredith. I did like this question right here from Karen that she put in the chat. She had to jump off a little bit early, but she said, if someone's already into health and wellness, maybe they like going to the gym, they're a gym rat, like how do you talk to them when they're hesitant about switching to Beachbody?
Well, I wouldn't tell anyone to switch to Beachbody. If they love going to the gym, if they love health and fitness, I'm not going to tell them to change their game, but I'm going to show them why this is so incredible and maybe even more beneficial than what they're already doing. So here's a great example is I have a woman, it's kind of similar. She loves macros. She loves going to the gym. She's not interested in what I call the holistic nutrition program, 2B Mindset. She has no interest in it, but she's interested in the coach opportunity, but she loves working out at the gym. Number one, I'm going to figure out what kind of workouts she likes. She likes heavier lifting workouts. So I already know I'm going to turn her on to things like L4 and hammer and chisel. Number two, I'm going to show her how to use our Beachbody On Demand app. And I'm going to say to her, like, just so you know, we have an app where everything is downloadable. So instead of going to the gym and having to like figure out your routine or get bored with the same routine, you can bring your app. You can have 7 workouts downloaded on it and you can be streaming your workouts. You can have, headphones on or however you want to do it, but you're going to be guided through the best workouts ever. So if I were you, I would not change your brand. That's what I would say to her. I wouldn't change your brand. I wouldn't stop going to the gym. If that's what you love, keep doing it. But you have to be willing, if you want to be successful as a coach, you do have to be willing to be a product of the product. So I would want you to do a whole challenge with us. I would want you to do L4 and see what your results would be from L4. Doesn't mean on your days off you can't do other things. You may find that you don't want to. Most people who are gym rats and excited about lifting, they're going to love, hammer and chisel and L4 anyway, because those are the exercises that they're doing. They're very comprehensive programs that are put together by the world's best trainers. So I generally just try to keep them in their setting, keep them really happy with where they're at, but utilize our tools and show them how amazing our tools really are.
I love that. So let's open it up for some questions. We have about 5 more minutes, guys. Questions that you guys have, just unmute yourself and ask a question. Everyone's like, and all of my questions have been answered from Meredith. Ashley, ask your question. I don't know if you're at work or not, but instead of having me read it. Yeah, I'm all for like awkward silence, guys. Like, I love it.
Oh, Cassidy asked in the chat box, how have you grown your Instagram and found your people? I feel like maybe it cut out when you answered it, or I don't think I talked about it. So Instagram, I grew it organically. I never bought followers. I never bought any services. I simply led with my brand from day one. My brand has always been, before I was a coach, food as medicine. I talked to you about, like, I led cleanses. I worked on healing myself and my own gut health. Shakeology obviously played a huge part in my gut health healing. But so since day one, my Instagram has always been about food. So if anything, the harder thing for me was to start showing fitness. I still to this day don't enjoy sharing fitness because it's not, like, I love it, but it's a very private thing to me. But I also understand I have to get out of my box if I want to pull people in that are interested more in the fitness aspect, or I need to show them that side of me. So I've just been 100% me the entire time. I've kept my Instagram feed focused on holistic healing, food as medicine, movement for your body, doing your workouts, lifestyle. So, I live in Southern California, so I try to get outdoors and take photos, or I try to show like what my life is, like my home life, because I am a homebody. I love travel. That's a huge part of who I am. So I share stuff about that too. Just like all the other trainings you see, I use hashtags, right? So I hope that people are going to find me, and then I often go in to specific hashtags and start like looking to see, hey, is there individuals that are in here that are of my me, that are my tribe. So I just grow it the same way everybody else grows it. It didn't go to 10K overnight, I'll tell you that. It started at like 300 people or 400 people. And it's, you guys, if you're watching it, I mean, I did this all weekend. It's like watching that saying about like watching a kettle boil. What's that saying? The kettle doesn't ever boil if you just sit there and watch it. And so like this whole weekend, it was like 10.6, 10.7, 10.6, 10. So somebody would follow, somebody would unfollow, somebody would follow, somebody would unfollow. It's like, if you're going to stare at that every single day, it's going to make you freaking crazy and it's going to feel like it's never growing. But if it's a compound effect, right? If you keep doing your thing, if you keep sharing your thing, more eyes are going to get on you. And eventually when more eyes get on you, more people are going to start following you.
Awesome. So we have time for one last question. It looks like Ashley here, she asked about Elite. Like, how did you talk about Elite with your team for the very first time and tie their goals into like the team goals and have them desire to go for it?
Oh yeah, there was a question from one of the girls that asked all the questions, like, how did I get to 2-star? How did I get my car? So I'll tell you all the things. So number one, when I got started, I didn't know what Elite was. I had no idea what Elite was, but I knew my coach was like, she was Elite and she was going to go on a really fun trip at the end of the year. And, she was probably going to take whoever went Elite with her. And I was like, ooh, that sounds really fun. I want to go on that trip. And she also talked about trips she was doing with her leadership team, which is essentially her diamond team. And I was like, oh, well, I want to go on that trip. So those became big goals for me. Before I knew what Elite was, before I knew what diamond was, I saw the trips and I was like, I want to go on all these trips. So I kind of had to reverse engineer how I had to get on a trip. And that's how I found out what Elite was, what having diamonds meant and all of that. And I think I had the mindset that this wasn't going to be hard. That was the first thing, is that I didn't realize, the challenge that it could be, because I've never worked in a network business. So I had the mindset going in that it's not going to be hard. I went in talking specifically to the people that I wanted to run a business with. Like I mentioned, I talked to people who were just like me. So I talked to underpaid, undervalued yoga teachers. That's who I was. Women that were going through yoga teacher training that had the ability to be incredible leaders, but weren't being valued at the studio or weren't getting jobs at the studio. So I built friendships and connected with all of these people. I let them know what my mission was and what I was trying to do in the very beginning. I called my team a yoga fit tribe and superfood mavens. We would do local meetups. We would go to yoga classes out by the water where somebody taught them. And we would sit around and have conversations. We'd invite our friends. It was very much like Yahoo meetup style. So just creating community was a big aspect of how it began to grow. And so I was very clear on what our mission was. Our mission was, and to me, my mission and my team mission still is to spread optimal wellness, spread health, and help educate people to really change the landscape of health and wellness in America. And now we have the opportunity to do that globally. But, when I had that conversation with people who cared about those same things that I cared about, and ask them like, hey, do you want to run with me? Do you want to do this with me? Like, do you want to travel with me? Do you want to let's make a trip together where all the leaders this year go to Costa Rica, or all the leaders go to Jamaica. Like, let's all go on the Success Club trip. Let's all earn these together. And so I just got people fired up about the same things I was fired up about: the mission, the rewards, the opportunities that were there, the income opportunity that was there was probably the easiest thing to get people to get excited about in the beginning, because all of us were poor yoga teachers. So that's really how I got to Elite that first year. And I'll say it was, and it always is, a hustle. In that first year, it was a really big hustle because, I was holding people's hands and I was taking time that I shouldn't have taken with people who were building their foundation on sand, right? Like, they'd have a friend sign up, they'd have a family member sign up, and next thing you know, they're diamond, they're a leader, but nobody's really a valued customer that wants to grow their business. So I went through all the same hurdles and roadblocks. Luckily, in that first year, I did have women that did want to run their business, though, through going through that process. Jacqueline Hughes was one of my very first coaches, and she was excited just like I was. And I got on the Success Club trip, and she was my +1. And that's when we kind of looked around and we're just like, we can do this. Why can't we do this? These are just normal people. They don't have anything on us that we don't have. And so we went back and we just shared that with the team. It was such an eye-opening moment, because, the name Beachbody, everybody's so scared that it's going to be like hard bodies when you go on a trip, and that's not who we were. So we just shared our love for it. We shared the opportunity. We shared that anyone could do this. We empowered our team, and we pushed for really big goals together, and I had success partners along the way. So I mean, those are the biggest things. Somebody who asked, like, how did I get to 2-star? Jacqueline was one of my diamonds, and then I had another diamond on my other leg. So it was just doing those basic things of continuing to show up every single day, teach my team, like get on, we didn't have live then, but videos in my team page of like what I was doing. At the beginning of my business, it was really networky. I had like the trifold, and I would say, okay, I meet people and I give them the trifold and I give them a sample of Shakeology and I give them the Success magazine. And like, it was very much building a network business, but I got in people's faces all of the time. There were every single week, there are meetings on my book where I'm meeting someone in person, always adding value. So I would share the coach opportunity with them, but I would add value. Like if it's someone I knew was struggling with certain things and I'd read a great personal development book, I would bring it with me and pass it on to them and said, the whole time I read this book, I kept thinking of you, you need to read this book. So be of value, be a friend, gain trust with people, but then share with them an opportunity that's changing your life.
Love it. Meredith, thank you so freaking much for being on the call and letting us put you on the hot seat and ask questions. And more importantly, just you being so transparent and helping us out. Thank you so much. Guys, I will post the recording on the Elite Push group. So if you need to, share that with teams, feel free. But guys, honestly, okay, let's go make let's produce some doers. Let's go make it happen in our businesses, okay? I always had a collegiate baseball coach who'd say there's 3 types of players out there. There's the players that make it happen, the players that watch it happen, and the players that wonder if it's going to happen for them. What player do you want to be? So think about that. Let's go make some big things happen this week and share all of this amazing information that we took today with our teams. All right, guys, I will see you same time next week. All right, guys, we'll see you.